Hey, welcome back, everybody. Here again is Dr. Rodriguez, Professor Rodriguez, with the soldering and repair course. And this is additional training for you after the 7 lessons on soldering and repair. I am back here and I want to give you one more time the opportunity to see more practice, live practice. And what are my credentials? I've done soldering for the past 15 years. I'm also a certified master instructor in a number of standards for electronic fabrication and repair. And today I will show you other methods of soldering and repairing, essentially dealing with through-hole components. All right, so I'm going to show you here a couple of additional methods to do this idea of repair, and I'm gonna go back and review what we did before. One of the methods that we reviewed before is the method of basically heating the joint. And one second, my tip's getting a little bit oxide, so I have to keep that tip very covered with solder. It's good practice to do that. All right, so that it doesn't get oxide on the tip. And so I'm gonna go ahead and take one component here, and I'll just grab it, hit the joint. You see how that is, and lift it up easy. And then I do the other side. I'm using a little tweezer. You might be able to get a tweezer. Hit the joint, all right, and lift it up. And there's the part removed. See how that simple is? Took us about 30 seconds or less. So that's that part. All right. So once you remove the component, the next part, of course, is cleaning the area for you to do the work. And I'll show you a couple of techniques here that you need to use, or that you have a choice to use as far as cleaning the area. I explained to you before, one way to do that is using the solder wick. And in my previous videos, I show you my homemade solder wick. This time I have solder wick that I purchased. This is the Bellarmine solder right here. It's a little roll. I pay about $2 for this little roll. I don't know how much we got here, but not a lot, but for what you need. So anyways, I'm gonna put some flux on my solder. Flux is a good thing to cure the solder so that it transfers the heat to the piece that you're working on. And so after we remove the component, we are ready to clean up the hole, the eyelet where the component is gonna go. So here we go. One way to do it is using the solder wick. Notice that? How cool that is. Okay, one more hole here. So you basically put the wick in between the joint and the tip. And then you press down a little bit until you see the eyelet becoming clogged or clear. All right, this is the one method. And that's looking pretty good. Let's see the board on the other side. And so this one needs a little more work, and it is the second set of holes in here. There you go. Hope you can still see it. So I'm going to work out that a little bit so that I can clear it. Now, here's another technique for you. If for some reason you cannot get the solder out of the hole, the eyelet, you can always go back and add a little more solder. That's a technique. You can add a little more solder. And where's my solder roll? Sorry about that. Delay. I need to find my solder roll here. So once again, we're on the other side of the board. And the idea here is, if the eye is not clear enough, you may have to add a little solder, which is what I'm about to do. I'm going to add a little more solder on this eyelet. And you do that so that when you pass your solder week, it helps. All right, so here we go. I'm passing my solder week once again here. And notice that that gives us some improvement. We can get most of the solder out. Here we go again. Okay. The other thing you should notice also is that I'm using still a chisel type tip. I may need to change my tip to a completely conical, round, pointy tip, but I think it's looking pretty good. We can always go back and redo that. Let me check this out. All right. It still needs a little more work, and it looks like my other solder was working better. My homemade solder. So let me do one more check here, one more test, and I'm putting just flux on top of the solder wick, and I'll just add a little more solder here, so that when I come back with my solder wick, it's got a place to grab from. Okay, so I'm using now my homemade solder wick. There we go. It looks like that did it. There you go. So that looked pretty clean. So this is a technique to clean out these eyelets. Notice that it's ready to go. I'm just cleaning up real good. Real good cleanup. You see that? You should be able to see the hole through the board. And I verify one more time. Yep. See the holes are pretty clean. Very clean. So we did a procedure to do that. Okay. And I'll be right back with placing the component. Okay. All right. Since our board is ready, notice that we cleaned that up. So that was the second part. I'm going to go ahead and put the component so that we can do some solder practice for you. And we talked about this component needed to be bended basically by hand. Try not using tools that will cut the component. You just measure approximately where the component is to go with my little tool. So it looks like there's gonna go. So with that, if I bring it a little bit too much, so about there, I'm gonna hold it with my thumb, my finger, and then I'm gonna press down the sides so I can bend the component and have it ready as that, right? As the component ready, right? Then I bend it with the tool and my fingers. Unless you have a plastic tool to bend it, it's probably a good idea to just do it manually. Because if you use another tool like this one, you might be able to cut that. You don't want to do that. So I'm going to put the component on the other side. Here I go. I hope you can still see it. So here I go. I'm going to place the component right there. And just press it down. Okay, I'm going to go to the other side, just like we did before. I'm going to open up the lids of the component so that stays in place, right? Just like we did before. Check on this side. And this side is really where you want to do the solder, right? This side is where the joints are going to be soldered. So that's ready. Clean your tip and tin it with solder. So it is covered with solder. Tin the tip is a good practice. All right. And now we're going to go 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to go to the root. I'm going to draw solder. Beautiful. Other side. Draw solder. And beautiful. It took us 1 or 2 seconds to do that. Notice how beautiful the solder joints look. And the back, it should just look fine too, like that. All right, now we're ready to trim the excess of solder on this part. So, and I told you that last time that when you trim this, you do it downside, so that if the remaining flies away, it's not going to hurt people. So Here's what you do. You trim it like that, right? You hear the clip. It went onto the camera. So I'm gonna do it downside here. Turn the board upside down so that if anything flies all the way. So there's the other component, all set. All right, so with that, I'm gonna stop here and come back with another video, show you another technique that you can use, a second technique, okay, for this purpose.